Hi everybody. I'm back to read chapter 4 of The Skin I Am In. Just a little recap. So far we've seen this main character Malika. The conflict is something about her getting teased. However, one specific thing that she cited at the end of chapter 1 was that there was this new teacher, Miss Saunders, who was going to cause her a lot of problems. We haven't seen Miss Saunders cause her many problems yet, but that's something I definitely want to look for as I enter the rising action, which we're about to do. Some other characters I kind of want to watch out for are Char, who has this complicated relationship with Malika. From those of you who have done your assignments so far, first of all, thank you. I'm seeing some disagreement. There are many of you who claim that Char and Malika are really close friends. Some of you are saying that Char takes advantage of Malika. Others of you are saying Malika needs Char. I even saw one scholar note that their relationship is mandatory. Shout out Owen. This is a really interesting way of putting it, so I challenge you to continue to watch how Char affects Malika and the conflict that she's facing. The other character we're kind of watching out for is John. So far I've only seen John do some pretty negative things. He's the one who made up that song about Malika. So I really want to watch out for them and the way that they're affecting this girl who is the narrator of our book. So chapter 4 kind of gets into her relationship with Miss Saunders a little bit, and Miss Saunders gives some really interesting assignments throughout 4 through 6 as well. So my two main asks is that you watch her relationship with Char, and that you're able to describe that at the end of chapter 6. And then I'm going to ask you to be a little bit more self-reflective rather than book-reflective, and complete one of the 2 assignments that Ms. Saunders gave her kiddos, which you'll find in our Google Classroom under prompt 2. Alright, so here we go with chapter 4 of The Skin I'm In. I'm really enjoying reading with you guys again. Hopefully you're enjoying the videos and finding them helpful as well.
Chapter 4. When the second bell rings, I run to Miss Saunders' class like somebody set my shoes on fire. Catch that simile. She's running as if she's on fire. It don't help none. Soon as I walk in, I know I'm in trouble. Everybody's got their head down and they're writing. Miss Saunders nods for me to take out paper and get to my seat. What does your face say to the world is written on the blackboard. I laugh. Only it comes out like a sneeze through my nose. I'm going to pause here for a moment just to let you know. This is one of the 2 options that you have to write about in our chapters 4 through 6 on prompt 2. One of your options is what does your face say to the world? So if that's a little bit confusing to you, here's where you can find some ideas and inspiration for that. Okay, so back to Malika. She just ran into Miss Saunders' class. She's late and they're all writing this prompt. What does your face say to the world? Miss Saunders is collecting papers before I even got 3 sentences down on my paper. She knows I just slipped in. That don't stop her from asking me to answer the question, though. My face? My face? I point to myself. Malika's face says she needs to stay out of the sun, Larry Baker says, covering his face with a book. Nah, man, Gregory Williams says. Malika's face says black is beautiful. Miss Saunders don't say nothing. She just crosses her arms and gets real quiet. She don't care if she done embarrassed me again. Malika, she says. I don't answer her question or look her way. I eye the ceiling and count the blobs of gum hanging there like pretty colored snot. Can anybody else tell me what their face says to the world? Miss Saunders asks. Her gold bangles jingle while she makes her way around the room. Those are just her bracelets. Miss Saunders is as quiet as a tiger sneaking up on his supper. It's them Italian leather shoes of hers, I guess. Malcolm Moore raises his hand. Malcolm is fine. He's got that long, straight hair, skin the color of a butterscotch milkshake, gray, sad eyes. He's half and half. Got a white dad and a black mama. He's lucky. He looks more like his dad than his mom. My face says I'm all that. Malcolm says, rubbing them 6 chin hairs he calls a beard. It says to the homies, I'm the doctor of love. I'm good to ya and good for ya. Everybody laughs. Faith, his girlfriend of a week, throws a pencil across the room. It bounces off the back of his chair and lands between his big feet. Miss Saunders gives Faith the eye, letting her know to cut it out. When the laughing's done, hands go up. Some folks say funny stuff about their face. Others is real serious, like John. He says his face tells the world he doesn't take no stuff, that people better respect him or else. I never seen nothing like that in John's face. He looks more scared than mean. I guess there ain't no accounting for what folks see in their own mirrors. When Miss Saunders asks, what's my face say? Don't nobody say nothing. Don't get all close-mouthed now, she says. I hear you whispering in the hall, laughing at me. She walks the aisles again. She stops by me and sits on my desk. Faces say more than you think, even mine. Don't be shy. Say what's on your mind. My hand goes up. I figure she's embarrassed me twice since she's been here this week. Now it's her turn. Not to hurt your feelings, but I think it says, you're a freak. Ooh, remember, this is her teacher she's talking to. That's cold, Crystal Johnson says, frowning. Miss Saunders puts her hands up to her chin like she's praying. She gets up and walks the room pacing. We don't say nothing. We just listen to the clock tick. Shuffle our papers, watch for some reaction from Miss Saunders. Freak, she says. I saw that too when I was young. Then she explains how she was born with her face like that. How when she was little, her parents had the preacher pray over it. The old folks worked their roots on it, and her grandmother used some concoction to change the color of that blotch on her cheek so it matched the rest of her skin. Miss Saunders says none of the stuff she tried on her face worked. So she finally figured she'd better love what God gave her. Liking myself didn't come overnight, she says. I took a lot of wrong turns to find out who I really was. You will too. Everybody starts talking at once, asking her questions. Miss Saunders answers them all. Some kids even go up to her face and stare and point. She lets them do it too, like she's proud of her face or something. Then Miss Saunders comes over to my desk and stares down at me. It takes a long time to accept yourself for who you are, to see the poetry in your walk, she says, shaking her hips like she's doing some African dance. Kids burst out laughing. To look in the mirror and like what you see, even when it doesn't look like anybody else's idea of beauty. For a minute, it seems like Miss Saunders is getting all spacey on us. Like her mind is somewhere else. Then she's back, talking that talk. So, what's my face say to the world? She asks. My face says I'm smart, sassy, sexy, self-confident, she says, snapping her fingers rapid fire. It says I'm caring and yes, even a little cold sometimes. See these laugh lines? She says, almost poking herself in the eyes. They let people know I love a good joke. These tiny bags? They tell the world I like to stay up late. Doing what, Miss Saunders? John asks. Checking homework or making out? Miss Saunders throws her head back and laughs. Ha, ha, ha. These lines around her eyes crinkle. The bangles on her arm jingle. What do I think my face says to the world? I think it says I'm all that, she says, snapping her fingers. Kids clap like they just seen a good movie and they yell stuff like, go on, Miss Saunders. Give me 5. Tell us who you really is. Miss Saunders quiets everybody down, then starts telling us more about herself. She's a big shot at an advertising agency downtown. A few months ago, her company and the school board came up with a new program that lets professionals take a leave of absence for a year to teach in inner city schools. She says she always wanted to teach. She says being at McClinton Middle School will help her figure out if she wants to make a career out of teaching. The next thing we know, Miss Saunders is asking us to take out some paper for a test. A surprise test. Some of the kids who was just giving out high fives are singing a different tune now. Worm thinks Miss Saunders is playing around for a minute. But she ain't. She says she wants to evaluate us. You know, to figure out what we know and don't know. Miss Saunders says the test won't count for a grade. John starts to get smart. He don't do so good on tests. Then why we gotta do it, he asks, putting one leg across his desk. Miss Saunders struts to his desk and pushes his leg off. Because I said so, she says, handing out the papers and telling us to settle down. Very interesting character of Miss Saunders there. So now we are officially in the rising action of the book. We're starting to see Malika's problems are going to escalate or grow from here on out, and we're watching who's affecting them and in what way they're growing and how she's attempting to solve them. So right now I kind of summarized what I think the main idea of chapter 4 is. Malika feels embarrassed by Miss Saunders. In chapter 1, Miss Saunders made a comment that the color of her skin was beautiful, but that caused other kids to kind of make fun of her for it. And now Miss Saunders has again pointed out her face specifically, and Malika doesn't like that. And in return, she tries to call out Miss Saunders, who seems extremely confident. I'm wondering now, as you heard chapter 4, what you might think one of the main events is that causes Malika some conflict. And how you think the events of this chapter will lead into chapter 5. But that's all for 4. I hope you will come back for 5. And again, make sure that you're doing the assignments in Google Classroom. The assignments for the skin I'm in post every single Wednesday, at least 1 week before they are due. And I will continue to update chapters here. All right. Thanks, guys. Oh, don't forget the exposition. All right. Bye.